Hey.
Thanks, Luis.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Huh?
Sharon forgot to sign him last night before she left. We need him for the file.
All right. I'll see it's taken care of.
Luis, you really think you needed to arrest her?
What was I supposed to do? Look, especially after the way that singer was shot and killed down by the wharf. I mean, that could have been Sheridan, Sam.
Unless someone wanted Crystal dead for a reason.
Yeah, but we don't know if that's the case. It could have been random. And Sheridan's like a walking bullseye the way she strolls around Harmony at all hours of the night. Not only that, look, but who's to say that those drug thugs who blew it in Paris don't come back here and try and finish her off? They start shooting at her. Innocent bystanders could get in the way. I'm telling you, she is a threat to the community.
I know, the community.
What, and you think that I overreacted?
I'm not saying you did anything wrong.
Damn straight. I specifically went exactly by the book.
I just don't think the book covers much in the way of personal feelings.
Not this again, Sam.
Look, Luis, every time I turn around, it seems like you've pulled Sheridan into your life again. You know, check it out, Luis. Not for me, for yourself. I mean, do you think it's possible that you're in love with Sheridan?
Me in love with Sheridan? Where do you get these ideas, Sam? You sneak reading Grace's romance novels at night?
I'm just telling you what it looks like.
Well, maybe you ought to look a little harder. Look, I'm sorry, right? Now, I'm just sick of everyone and their brother telling me that I got something going on with Sheridan. All I tried to do was to protect a citizen, which last time I checked was part of my job description.
Easy, Luis. I'm just trying my damnedest to keep you from going back to jail. The only reason Julian Crane dropped those kidnapping charges was on the condition that you stay away from his sister.
I know what I promised, and I'll keep my end of the deal as soon as I get Sheridan to sign these papers.
Hey, have you ever considered having another officer take care of it?
Look, it's my case. I'll see it through to the end. No, I'm not afraid of Julian. I'm not afraid of anybody.
All right. Well, do what you have to do. Just be careful. Luis, I need to pick your brain on the singer's homicide last night.
What you got?
Well, I did a background check on Crystal, and it looks like she might be connected to somebody here in Harmony. Check it out.
So Crystal lived in Paris.
For 20 years. Give or take a year or so.
So what are you saying?
Hasn't your friend Sheridan lived in Paris on and off for a good part of her life, too?
And you think that's who Crystal's connected to in Harmony?
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, well, I gotta call her anyway.
Crane residence.
Yeah, this is the Harmony Police Department. Can I speak to Miss Crane?
I recognize your voice, Luis.
Oh, it's you. I didn't realize people like you answered their own phones.
What do you want? Have you found some other petty ordinance that I've broken? Or are you just trying to quiz my bodyguard as to my every move since you last saw me?
Who's that? You know, instead of shooting your mouth off, why don't you try to listen to me for once?
Why should I listen to you when you never listen to me?
Miss Crane?
No, this is Ethan. Who's this?
Sam Bennett. Look, since your aunt and my officer can't seem to say two words to one another without sounding like a couple of 7-year-olds on the playground, I wish you could help me out with something.
I'll try.
We're looking into the background of the woman who was murdered at the wharf last night.
Yes?
Yeah, she lived in Paris for the last 20 years or so. I wonder if your aunt ever ran into her there.
I never heard of her before.
Sheridan says...
Yeah, I got that. I just thought I'd ask since they both spent some time over there.
Well, if that's all...
Actually, Ethan, there's one more thing. Could you ask Sheridan to come in to close out the file on her arrest last night?
Yeah, I'll pass it on.
Thanks, Ethan. What is with you, Luis? You can't even ask Sheridan a simple question without it turning into a verbal free-for-all?
She's impossible.
Look, I don't want to hear it. Just when she comes through the door, have her sign the form, and don't talk to her anymore. All right? I got work to do.
Hey, so you still think Crystal knew someone here in Harmony?
It's a possibility. If she did, I'm going to find out who it is. We're here. Let's wrap this up quickly, huh?
No problem.
Here's your report, Sam.
Thanks for finishing up so quickly.
I had to leave the last part blank. I didn't know if anybody had requested that the body be released to them.
Afraid not. Can't say I'm surprised, though. We haven't been able to trace the next of kin.
So what happens to the poor lady's remains?
Same thing that happens to any other unclaimed body. Grave at Potter's Field.
Oh, no. I mean, that's such a sad end for anybody.
I hear you. You'd think there was somebody out there who cared about her.
Well, thanks for dropping this off. I gotta go see to Crystal's burial.
You can't bury her in Potter's Field. Not after everything that we've been through.
Eve, what do you mean? Did you know Crystal?
Eve, you knew Crystal?
Of course not. She was just talking about what she had to deal with. I mean, what we all had to deal with, dealing with her death on the ward.
Eve, is that true?
I just feel so sorry for her, Sam. And she was a wonderful singer. It just doesn't seem right for her to be buried in Potter's Field.
Yeah, nobody deserves that.
You know, Chad has taken it pretty hard. She died holding a secret to his past.
Well, if that's true, he'll just have to accept that her secrets died with her.
No, not necessarily. I just started looking into Crystal's background. Who knows what will turn up?
I don't understand. Why do you have to look into Crystal's background?
Honey, she was murdered.
But it's just standard procedure in any homicide. I mean, it could even turn out that Crystal was killed because of something she knew. Maybe a secret that someone was so desperate to hide.
You don't believe that?
Well, I don't have any proof, just a gut feeling. All I know is I'm not going to stop digging until I know a lot more about Crystal. If and when I find out she knew anybody here in Harmony, I'm going to lean on them so hard they wish they were never born.